Okay. All
I'm
right.
snuggling in bed with Denzel's little sister, who he was just talking about while we watched the interview.
Okay, so you're his mom, is that right?
I'm his mom, yes.
Nice
I'm
to meet
Denzel's
you.
mom.
Nice to meet you.
Chaperone, baggage carrier, suitcase packer.
Remember, we do not want to get sued, okay? Please don't sue.
Oh, I just had a question, Denzel, talking about homeschooling. And since you're on the spot, might as well. What is the hardest part of being around your family all the time? And your answer impacts what you get for dinner tonight.
I am done. No.
I want to welcome you to an extra special episode, Media from the Heart. My name is Ruth Hill, and I'm your host. And today, I'm bringing to you a fabulous episode with the youngest person to date that I have had on my podcast, Denzel Onaba. That opening clip should give you a good idea of who he is and the way this episode went down. You are going to have so much fun listening to Denzel, and as he recounts his stories, his adventures, and so much more. I mean, this kid's done more than probably a lot of us have done in our lifetimes, and he's so young. I mean, how is that even possible? But I would like for you to sit back, listen, as Denzel, who is going to be a world changer. He's already changing the world, but just think of what he's going to do in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. It's going to be incredible. This man has one of the brightest futures I've ever seen in this business. So here we go. No further ado, Mr. Denzel Onaba. Take it away. I want to welcome you to another episode of Media from the Heart. My name is Ruth Hill, and I'm your host. And today, I have the youngest person who has ever made an appearance on my podcast. He is an incredible young man, Denzel Onaba. And so Denzel, it is so nice to have you here. I am so happy that we could make this work. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for letting me on your show.
My pleasure. Now, for those who might be wondering, Denzel is only 9 years old, but this guy has a very, very impressive bio. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can read more about him, but let me just give you a brief introduction to this particular young man. Vancouver child actor and filmmaker Denzel Onaba, his talent, confidence, wisdom, and career vision stretch far beyond his 9 years of age, and he is already making an indelible mark on the entertainment industry. Just like Academy Award-winning actor Denzel Washington, for whom he was named, Denzel Onaba is not only a consummate professional, but is extremely good-natured. Denzel made his on-screen debut in the award-winning 2021 video short, Just Break Away. As an actor, writer, filmmaker, director, and musician, Denzel seeks to integrate his Afro-Canadian heritage into his craft whenever possible. Playing the role of a Black child and honoring Black struggles, he has broken down stereotypes in several short films by showcasing Black children as capable, talented, and resilient trendsetters. Denzel recently appeared in the Hallmark TV movie A Godwink Christmas, Miracle of Love, an episode of the sci-fi series Resident Alien, as well as 6 educational videos for the Canadian Mental Health Association, multiple short films, commercials, and several music videos. Now, most of us, Denzel, at the age of 9, we're not doing all that. I'll just be honest. At the age of 9, I was doing a lot, but I was not doing any of this. And when I read that, I feel like I'm reading the bio of someone twice or 3 times your age. You've accomplished all this and you're only 9. So when did you get started, Denzel? When did this whole idea of wanting to be in film and TV, when did that happen? How did it happen?
Well, it wasn't really when did it happen? It was almost by mistake. So when I was very little, like 4 years old, I had signed up for modeling, and I did it once, and I loved it. And then none of the roles really applied for me, and it just kept going like that for a few years. And then we kind of forgot about it. And one time, instead of modeling, it was for acting, and it was a black boy, and no one else had applied for it. And so I applied for it, and I loved it, and I just kept going and going and going.
Oh, okay. So modeling at the age of 4, was that your idea, or was that your parents' idea, or kind of both of you?
To be honest, I'm not too sure, but I think it was like my parents' choice.
Yeah, probably. But once you started modeling, well, was it long before you really started enjoying it? I mean, how was that experience when you're modeling at the age of 4? I'm thinking most 4-year-old, and especially boys. Now, I talk to a lot of girls in this business, young girls who start out, but when it comes to the boys, I mean, a lot of boys are more interested in playing sports and doing very active things and doing those kinds of, and not to say that you aren't active, because I'm sure you are. But what was it that you really found fun about modeling, even at that young age?
Well, I think that I've always liked to be in front of the camera. I never really get like camera shy, and it was always like that for me. And I feel like it's fun to be in front of the camera instead of nervous and nerve-wracking and stage fright. I think that being in front of the camera is fun and relaxing for me.
Okay, well, and you certainly have an incredible stage presence. I mean, and you're a very well-spoken young man. I mean, I feel like I'm talking again to somebody who's like a teenager or a young adult. I mean, I almost feel like we could have that kind of conversation. You are, now I seem to remember reading that you are homeschooled. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So have you always been homeschooled?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now, I happen to know that a lot of young people who are homeschooled, well, it can go either way. It seems like you have incredible, I know I see your mom posting a lot of stuff, and you have incredible family support. So why do you think homeschool works so well for you in your situation?
Well, I think that with acting, it's hard to find the dates between, like, maybe you have to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you have to work for 1 hour and then go back to sleep, but then you're so tired that you can't go to school. And I think if you're homeschooled, you could wake up at 3 a.m. and then work for maybe 2 hours and then go back to bed and wake up at 10, feeling just fine.
Oh, I mean, this is so great. Denzel, you are just like, I'm thinking, you've been on here for like 5 minutes and you are just so impressive. I now know why your agency has this incredible bio about you, because it makes sense. And I'm beginning to understand why you're so successful even at your age, because it's like, man, how could he do all this? And I can imagine some of my listeners, some of my viewers might be thinking, how could he be only 9? This must be a mistake. How could he be only 9? No, but you are very gifted. I will just say that. I can already tell you, very gifted, and it is truly an honor to have you on here. I just want you to know that. I really appreciate it, and so thank you again, because I'm just blown away by you. So modeling, you were doing the modeling. How did that end up then switching over to getting involved with acting?
Well, I think that when you're modeling, it's kind of like acting, but not really, because, I mean, you might do fast pictures, always changing positions, but I think that it's the same idea. Being in front of the camera might be frightening for some people, and sometimes it's not, like me. And I think how it switched was when everyone's modeling, I think maybe there was a mistake with the website, and I think that it's almost helpful that that happened, because I never really thought about acting, and I wasn't thinking about Denzel Washington when I was acting. And I'm like, oh, it's Denzel Washington? Oh yeah, I forgot he acted. And yeah, I love watching people on movies and TV shows and all those stuff, but I never really thought about, acting. And the funny part is now I look at acting and I'm like, wait, my cousin once told me there was like someone wearing a sports bra, and like the sports bra changed color completely, and she was so upset about that because it was her favorite movie. So, you start noticing things as you become more of an actor, and it's really interesting what happens.
Mhm. Right. Wow. Denzel Washington. Now, I know that. So you were actually named after Denzel Washington, is my understanding. And so have you had any chance? I'm just going to ask because I don't know. Have you had any chance to interact with Denzel Washington at all? Has there been a connection there at all yet?
Well, I definitely haven't spoke to him. Yeah, I mean, I think that once again, he's a great actor and an awesome person, but I haven't interacted with him or spoke to him or met him or any of that stuff.
It's definitely something. Is that something that amongst other people, but is he someone that you look up to, admire? Is he's I don't necessarily like a role model. Is he someone who you would hope to model your career somewhat after? I mean, you're gonna have your own path, but is he somebody you look up to?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah. Well, you never know, because we'll definitely put it out here that when I post this, that maybe you never know, stranger things have happened, so you never know. Put it out there and maybe Denzel Washington will get in contact with you. You never know. It would be a really cool thing. I could see. I don't know Denzel Washington. I've never had any connection with him either, but I could definitely see the two of you somehow making a connection. I don't know. I could just see that, because he seems like a pretty cool dude. So the very first thing that you acted in was a short film. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what was that experience like? What can you tell us? What are your memories of that?
I remember putting on fake makeup, it was really fun because, I didn't really think, I never really thought about fake makeup and fake blood, and it never really came to my mind. And all of these things are starting to come into my head, and you're realizing all these cool things that happen behind the giant screen. And I think that some of the memories that I have are like, I remember having to pretend at my house to be sad and go up the stairs. And for me, it was hard, but because I was so excited that I couldn't really be sad at that time. And, I never really realized that there was rehearsals on set and, all that stuff.
Okay, so how did you happen to get this role? Do you remember that?
Well, I think that it wasn't really an audition. It was more of like the modeling thing. I applied and no one else had said yes, and so they chose me. And I think that was it's definitely, and the fact that it was a commercial for Nike is an even bigger thing.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, because Nike is one of those brands that is known worldwide. I'm sure there are people who don't know about Nike. I'm sure that those people do exist, but so much of our world does know. You hear Nike and automatically well, I know them. So to have been connected with that brand, be able to do that, that's pretty cool. Wow. So that was back last year. Is that right? Is that when that happened? Is that remember? Okay. And so from there, of course, you've had some other experiences. A lot of my viewers and listeners are Hallmark fans, so they're going to possibly remember the Godwinks film that you were a part of. Um, and I love that so many of the kids that I interview have gotten to be in Hallmark movies because it's a Hallmark, and you got to be in not only a Hallmark movie, but a Hallmark Christmas movie, a very well-known series that comes out like every year. It's like a movie. They have all these different Godwinks movies. So what did you, at your young age, what did you know about Hallmark when that movie came about?
Well, I actually didn't really know about Hallmark before I started doing this, but I think that Hallmark is a very, very popular, YouTube channel and channel on TVs, and I think that it's a really big thing to be a part of that, and I think that was a pretty big thing to be on.
Oh, most definitely. Well, and you're not alone in this, because almost every kid that I've ever interviewed who's been in a Hallmark movie, they were not aware of Hallmark. A lot of times they didn't know about Hallmark because that's not something that most kids watch. But that's great that you got to be a part of a Hallmark Christmas movie. I'm sure, I have a feeling, was your mother pretty excited that you got in a Hallmark Christmas movie? It's usually the mothers that get super excited because they're often the ones who know about the Hallmark Christmas movies, and then, oh, my child got in a Hallmark Christmas movie. So that's cool. When you made that particular movie, what was it like? I know you hadn't had a whole lot of experience on movie and TV. Yeah, you'd had some experience, but what was it like being on that set? What was your experience like on that set?
Well, it was fun because there was this other child that I had to act with, and he was definitely very goofy. So there was times when he would just look at me when we were trying to film, and I would burst out laughing, and I don't know why, but I could not stop. And they're like, okay, you need to stop. And I think that was definitely an experience for me, and I think it's a good experience.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Well, and that's good that you had the opportunity to be with some other kids, because I know it happens sometimes, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're the only kid on set, and you're surrounded by adults, and they're really nice, but it is fun when you have, I'm sure, another child on set. So that's fun, and it sounds like you had a great time. Now, I have not seen, I'm aware of the series The Resident Alien, but I have not seen it because that's not my typical genre. I've actually have been noticing that series is out there and it's getting a lot of good press. But what was it like then? Okay, so you were in a Hallmark movie, you've done this thing for Nike, you've done some other things, but what was it like then being on the Resident Alien set?
Well, the Resident Alien set they had like some pictures of like an alien, and I thought that was really cool. And I just thought, wait, this isn't how, oh wait, it is. I was thinking, it's really cool to see this, and yet again, there was another child that I saw that was pretty cool. His name was Taylor Lamb, and I think that, it was fun to have him, and yeah, I loved it.
That's good. So, do you like sci-fi? Is sci-fi something that you enjoy? Like, before doing the series, was it something you liked?
I mean, it's not my favorite thing to do.
Right.
I'm not really a fan of it, but that was my first ever sci-fi film that I was on, and I think it's definitely something very cool to be in, because sci-fi is mystical, and scary at sometimes.
Right. Yeah, and I totally get it. I've told people that sci-fi was not my thing for like most of my life. I the only sci-fi stuff I'd ever watch would be like Star Wars. That was like about it. I couldn't stand the old Star Trek. I always tell people that the old Star Trek series, my mom would watch it and I would be like, I do not want to watch this. I think it's really dumb. That was my view. But as I got older, I started liking sci-fi. So I totally get where you're coming from on that. And I'm sure it had to be cool because with sci-fi, where did you have a lot of were there special effects or special makeup costuming that you remember from being on set?
Well, I think that I wasn't really around this alien. It was more just of a scene of, not to spoil anything, but like just someone handcuffed to a bench. It's really weird. If you watch it, you'll understand. But
okay, that's good. No, that's good. You didn't spoil anything. You actually intrigued me by what you just said. You gave us just enough information that it's like, oh, we want to look that one up. So it was not something that was necessarily putting you in a frightening. Was it a super frightening, intense scene at all for you?
No.
Okay. I only ask because sometimes I have interviewed children who have been in horror films and they've really done some super intense scenes that some adults don't even want to do. So I was curious about that. Now, not only have you done modeling and acting and all that, but you've done writing and directing and music. Is that my understanding that those are also things that you have done?
Yes.
So here you are, 9 years old, and you are already a writer, director, musician. What is it like at your age being so you were writing films, is that right?
Yes, I wrote one film.
Okay, one film. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with that film?
Well, I think it's about accepting people as they are, and it was part of the Run and Gun 40-hour film competition, as you read in the article. And I think that was, it was exciting because, one, I did it with my friends, Kyrie and Zella Schrager, and they were awesome about it, and we even got to fit a sleepover in it. So that was nice. And, we did 1 day of filming and 1 day of editing, so we basically did not sleep. But, yeah, it was a blast. We had a blast doing it, and then, like, you get to watch all these other films, and, it was fun and exciting in a way.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard about those kinds of film festivals where you literally they give you like some kind of topic or something, or they use, is that correct? And then you have, would you say, was it 40 hours? Is that right? 40 hours to create, to write it, film it, edit it, all that kind of stuff and then you present it. And I'm always amazed. I mean, I hear about adults doing that and they talk about it, but Denzel, you're 9 years old now and you've done this. I mean, that's just mind blowing. And then you're just really cool about it. Like, oh yeah, I did this. And that's one thing I really love about what I'm seeing from you. It's not like you're going around saying, being arrogant or saying, well, I get to do this and I got to do that. You're super humble about it and just super chill about that. And that just makes us even more interested to know you, and it makes me even more impressed with you. So that's really good. I like to see that very, very much. I like to see that mannerism from you. So music, what can you tell us about your music?
Well, I have tried many times to make a song, and have failed, but I'm still working on it. And I play the ukulele, and I have this great teacher, Mark Luongo, and I think playing ukulele is fun, and we're starting on ukulele, and we're gonna move to guitar. And I just yesterday, actually, in fact, I started liking the sound of bass, and I really, really, really like the sound of bass, and I'm planning on going from guitar to bass, and we'll see how it works out, but that's my plan.
Oh, wow. Well, and I love that he's like, I've tried several times and I've failed, but you're not giving up. And I just see that in you. You have this determination that you see that you want to do something and you don't give up. If it doesn't work one way, you're going to figure out a way to do it. Is that kind of the way you're living your life? Is that my understanding?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. So where do you get all this determination? I mean, is it just within you, or family support, friends? What keeps you going?
To be honest, it was all of what you just said.
Okay, right. Well, that's good. Wow. So so what have you been up to most recently? I know I've been seeing, ever since I started following you, I'm seeing all these cool photos and all these fun things that I keep seeing on Instagram. That I assume your mom is posting probably all this stuff, and it's so cool. You look like you're having a blast. So what have you been up to most recently that you can tell us about?
I would say background.
Oh, background. Okay. And and you know what? You also just amaze me. You have a way of telling us, because there's things that I realize you can't tell us because it's not officially released yet, or there's things, there's all these different non-disclosure agreements and things that you can't share about this, you can't share about that. And you have a way of telling us just enough that it's like, ooh, that sounds intriguing. You haven't given away anything. You haven't spoiled anything, but you've intrigued us by giving us the information you just gave us. Some background. Wow. So where have you been traveling recently?
I can say that I went to Nova Scotia.
Okay. I knew it was somewhere in Canada. I would have to look it up, but yeah, Nova Scotia. Was the weather nice while you were there?
To be honest, there was one day it was sunny, and another day was snow. It was cloudy, and then another day it was raining, and then there was freezing rain, and then there was this horrible wind, and then it was snowing, and you're just like, what? I mean, it's like Vancouver, but without this snow and freezing rain.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, but it seems like you had a good time in spite of any weather issues. It seems like I remember seeing things about, looks like did you go swimming at some point? Is that what I remember? Something about some post about that. I don't know if that was when you were on that trip, but so that brings me then to when you're not acting or writing or directing or doing music or stuff, and schooling, what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I mean, I'm practicing for a play that I'm in called Kinky Boots, and yeah, I see that face. It seems like you're familiar with that.
Yep, I am.
I've been practicing for that, and like you said, I like to play the ukulele. I also have a violin in my house. No one plays it, but I like to mess around with it. And I have a piano, and yeah.
My goodness, you got a pretty full life there. Wow. Well, I can tell you that we've got several people here who I just have a feeling that there's going to be people who are going to want to come on and ask you questions. And they're really nice. I don't know absolutely everybody here, but I know almost everybody here, and I can assure you they'll be very nice. So who would like to okay, my mom, she's really good about this. So this is my mom. So I'm going to let her come on.
Hi, Denzel.
Hello.
What an amazing young man you are. You are a delight to listen to, and you are so articulate. I was trying, as you were sharing, I'm going to be 79 in a few months, and I think, man, I'm trying to remember at 9 years of age, what was I doing? Probably nothing. I can't even remember that many years ago. But wow, what you've accomplished. What is your right now at 9 years of age, what dream, what is your big dream that you have, that you are moving towards as you grow older?
Well, I think that my dream is to become a very successful actor and, meet a lot of cool people and, raise people up when they're in their hard times. And I think that by doing that, people will think that if he can do this, so can I. And that's kind of my goal, to make this world a better place in a way.
Well, are you sure you're only 9? I don't know about this. I tell you, I'm just amazed. You are just so articulate, and you're just an amazing young man. Musically, I'm just curious, do you have any plan? Do you sing? Do you dance? Do you have any thoughts about going in that direction also?
Well, I take singing class, and I do freestyle. I don't really do any dancing properly, but I have done some runovers with my friends and choreography.
Yeah. Wow. When do you sleep? You do all that. Do you sleep? I don't know how you get sleep in.
Yes.
Man. Oh, I wish I just had a quarter of that energy. My goodness. I just thank you for coming on, Denzel, and I'm going to be watching your career unfold. My daughter Ruth is amazing. She keeps me posted on all these things, and and we'll watch and see it. I'm anxious to see you in a production, in a movie, TV series, whatever. I'm really looking forward to that. And thank you for joining us. You are a delight. And you are just so articulate. I mean, I just think, wow. Oh, yeah, you're amazing. So thank you so much for coming on. And I just look forward to just seeing the great things that are going to unfold for you in your future. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday. Happy but early birthday.
All right, Paula, go for it.
So cute. Hello.
Hello.
I have a few questions. I would like to know a little bit about, in your bio thing, it says actor, film writer, a filmmaker, actor, writer, director, and musician. And you are so young and you have a bit to go. But if you had to narrow it down and you can't choose film, what is your next that you're going to work on?
I would say music, to be honest.
Music, good. That's nice. Yes. And you said you had a violin in your house. I'm going to be 70 in August, and I just start practicing violin. So pick it up. It's a beautiful instrument. Yeah, pick it up. That's all right. So I like music. Okay. Now you're homeschooled, and this is quite different for a lot of us here in the United States, because until COVID, kids were not taught at home. And is it hard having your mom or dad being your teacher, and then you can't hide or go away at 3:00? No, it's okay.
It's the most easiest thing in the world, to be honest.
Okay. Do you have a favorite subject?
Well, I like to follow my interests, and I also one of the interests that I follow is acting, and I also follow ukulele, and I do singing, and I did a musical theater class that I'm getting ready for Kinky Boots, and a lot of things are happening, and I think that yeah.
Yeah. Very good. All right. And also, I read that you were on the championship list of monologue Slam Nation. What is that? What is a monologue Slam Nation?
Well, I was, as you said, on the Monologue Slam Nation, and that is when, you say like, it's almost like a poem but it's called a monologue, and I did one for, 1 minute, and I came second place, and
Wow.
yeah, it's a big accomplishment, and it was fun, and it's nice. It's good for your resume, but it's also a big accomplishment to have.
Yeah. I watched your monologue, The Slam Dinosaur in the Hood, and I thought it was so cute. But my goodness, all the words that you remembered. I mean, how do you do that? Does it come easy? It's just, I was
Well,
impressed. I was really impressed. You just remembered it? There wasn't words in front of you that you were reading, or oh my goodness.
well, as an actor, you have to learn that skill, and I think it's easier as a child because pretty much everything is easier as a child, and um, I think with memorizing your lines, for me, I generally even at 2 years old, I was remembering things from when I was one, and now for some strange reason, things randomly come back to my head, like memories on Facebook, and it's something that is easy for me in a way, and sometimes I look at the page for 5 minutes, or sometimes I look at it for 2 days, and eventually I memorize it. And I think the best way to do it is to either read it just before bed, or read it and then try and read it back to yourself, and then read a little bit more and add more onto that.
Wow. Well, you did a really good job. Yeah, so I can see you going far. Now I can't even pronounce this word, but you did a Panagona?
Paganono.
Yes. Okay, and it says you played a child who used American Sign Language. Did you have to learn sign language, or did they teach you what you were acting?
So actually, my mom here, who is Laura, she learned sign language, and she was a American Sign Language teacher for a very long time. And as a child, sometimes I would sign more and food, and it's water, and she kind of passed it on in a way. And I'm taking American Sign Language classes right now, and I think that for this it wasn't that hard, but it was only a few words. But I think it was something very cool to show in your acting, and it's like you're working up to a triple threat in a way.
It's a valuable trait to have, to be able to do that. My son had a friend in high school that was deaf, and he learned sign language so that he could communicate with his friend. And a lot of times they'd ask me to give him a ride or pick him up and take him to the soccer field to watch him play, and he's signing me, and I wish I would have been able to know what he was saying, because it was just him and I in the car. So, and I'm sure there's going to be an acting job out there for sign language. You keep it up, because you're going to be ahead of everybody in that. So now this is my very last question, and my favorite of all. Okay. So the question is, what house is the sorting hat going to put you in? Slytherin, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, or Ravenclaw? I heard you like Harry Potter.
I'm done. I'm done. I don't know.
Someday you feel like a Slytherin, and someday you feel like a Hufflepuff or a Gryffindor. Yeah. Have you watched the movies a lot?
No, I've only watched. I don't know why, but I watched the first movie and the sixth movie.
Oh, okay. I have a homework assignment for your homework. Put this in your schoolwork. You have to read all the books because they're wonderful.
I did.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Okay.
I've read them also. Actually, my first college classes, I had to read here the first Harry Potter book. So, yeah. But, well, I thought for sure you were going to say a Gryffindor, but.
No, I had to use that reaction. That's what my body was thinking.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much. This was a joy to interview you, and I look forward to seeing your work in the future, because I think you'll go far at it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy early, but.
Oh, thank you.
Happy early, but happy early birthday.
Oh, that's cute. Oh,
Thank you.
Denzel, you are so quick-witted.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing that, and you're not intimidated. You're definitely, well, I mean, you were already saying you love to be in front of the camera. You've demonstrated that over and over and over again, and you just quickly, I mean, like you just come up with it. You have those comebacks, and they're very well done, well timed. Have you had the opportunity to do much comedy in your acting?
Well, I have done a lot of comedy offset, but no.
Okay, all right. Because I could definitely see that you already have this comedic timing that cannot be taught. I mean, comedic timing can be taught, but what you have is just this inherent, like, inborn comedic timing. And so got to see you in some comedy. I'm sure you wouldn't be opposed to being in comedy. You'd probably like that, I'm assuming. Yeah, I would say for sure. Maybe you need to write some comedy that you could like, you could write it and write yourself a series and get your friends all involved, and maybe that would be something you could do. I don't know. We'll see.
Next interview you have, you should interview my sister, and she will crack you up. I mean,
oh, okay. Good to remember. Very good to remember. All right.
Oh, Denzel, you're just delightful. I have really enjoyed this interview, but I want to know what genre of music you sing. If you sing, and then also, I hope if you get to be on another Hallmark movie, you jump on it.
okay.
And would you sing the verse?
The verse?
No. Oh, what music? Yeah.
Well, I have been practicing singing, pop songs like, Bruno Mars, and
Wow.
that's pretty much the only thing I've been practicing. Yeah, I like it.
Would you sing a few bars for us?
Let me find one that's interesting. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3. I'll be there.
Very good. Thank you.
Oh, Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Wow. Oh, Ruth, I'm so glad you asked that. I'm so glad you asked this question. Did you have any more? I didn't want to cut you off. Did you have any more questions? No. Okay. I just want to make sure. Wow, Denzel, and then you just like come out and sing, no warm up, nothing. You just come out and sing. You're right on pitch. How cool is that? My goodness.
Hey, better? Okay,
Yes.
hi, Denzel. Yeah, you were saying that you take ukulele lessons and you were taking some sign language lessons and mom was helping you with that, right? But it seems to me that every time I talk to you, you are taking more lessons in different things. And so I was wondering, how many different things can you think of that you have taken lessons in, including maybe other languages or sports activities or the arts, or how many are there? I'll bet there are more than I could count on two hands.
I'm done.
Just start somewhere. Just start somewhere.
Ukulele, Mandarin, sign language. I think that might be all.
What about your sports activities?
Well, I have taken basketball lessons, parkour. I also did soccer, and I think soccer was my all-time favorite. But yeah, that's 6.
Swimming.
For sure.
Very good. I'm always impressed at all the different things that you have an interest in. And these are things that you're interested in doing, or is it because you have to do them in order to do your acting?
Well, I do lots of them. I do most of them are not for filming, but I did swimming, and I had to practice falling into the water because I had to do a stunt for this one.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you.
That's pretty cool. All right. Well, thank you for coming on. That's great. Okay. All
I'm
right.
snuggling in bed with Denzel's little sister, who he was just talking about while we watched the interview.
Okay. So you're his mom, is that right?
I'm his mom, yes.
Nice
I'm
to meet
Denzel's
you.
mom.
Nice to meet you.
Chaperone, baggage carrier, suitcase packer.
Remember, we do not want to get sued, okay? Please don't sue.
Oh, I just had a question, Denzel, talking about homeschooling. And since you're on the spot, might as well. What is the hardest part of being around your family all the time? And your answer impacts what you get for dinner tonight.
I am done. No. I'm scared now. I think we get very spoiled. I mean, it's nice, but I don't want to become a spoiled child.
Can you explain what you mean by being spoiled so I can stop doing it?
I don't mean I don't want to have dinner. I just mean we always do a lot of fun things, which is good, but when we went to Nova Scotia, we ate out for 2 weeks, and that was very unhealthy and very spoiling. So that's what
The hardest part is being spoiled? Is that what you mean? Yeah?
I'm not spoiled. At least I don't think. I mean, maybe my mouth is a bit spoiled, but I think like the part that like when you we eat a lot we eat out sometimes, and I think with that is a lot to do, and also it's hard to explain, you know. I think that like the amount of funness and spoiledness kind of balances out, but like we are pretty spoiled with the stuff we do.
Thanks, Levy.
Oh, that's great. And your mom is great. That's that now and that was great that she got to come on and ask you that question. You may have kind of thought, oh no, Mom, what do I say? But you give a very safe answer, I would say, and a very good one. So you did well. Well, one thing I did want to mention, because I know it's also mentioned in your bio, is that you really are changing the concept and stereotypes that people might have about people who of your ethnicity, this whole thing of I love your Afro-Canadian roots. If that's something that you really want to be, that person, or at least one of those people who helps really change perceptions. And I can tell you right now, I absolutely love diversity. I've been like a champion of diversity, like basically my whole life. And what I'm seeing from you is the kind, you're bringing that perspective so well, so authentically. And it makes me happy to see people like you and young people like you who are really doing such an extraordinary job of people thinking in the past, well, someone of this ethnicity can't do this, or they can't do that, or this is, it used to be, I mean, thankfully things have changed so much. And I know I've seen a change in Vancouver since that's where you are. And, but you are such an advocate. And I hope that you really do see yourself that way. You're a trailblazer, you're an advocate. And I believe that as you go on, that there are going to be people, young people, and even people who are older, who are going to look at you and say, man, that Denzel Onaba, wow, you've seen all that he can do. And and some of their stereotypes, some of their old ideas are going to go away because of someone like you. That's what I believe strongly. And I think that's what you're wanting to have happen. Am I right? Yeah. You're very strong on that. You are such a champion for everybody, for young people. And then also, I think you mentioned something about being involved with mental health awareness as well. Is that correct? There was like there was a documentary that was about mental health awareness. Is that right? Now you're only 9, but we understand that mental health is important. Anyone of any age can experience mental health issues, and can really struggle with that. What was it like to be a part of that particular series, that documentary series?
Well, you know, I think that it's one, very, very important, and the thing it was called was the Canadian Mental Health Association, and it's a documentary on how parents can help their kids. And it's funny because like I did some very fake coughs. Like it was very easy to tell it was fake, but they still used it. They didn't ask for better ones or more realistic ones, and I thought that was very funny. And like we had to build a tower, and like I had to pretend to cough and like knock over the tower with my cough.
Yeah.
And you know, that was very, very childish, but you know.
Yeah. Well, it's something very important. I think it's something that with COVID the past couple of years, especially, it's been something that has been affecting everybody. And I think we sometimes forget how it even affects children, because of all these children who suddenly were stuck at home and they were confined to their houses and they could not go out and they couldn't be with their friends and they couldn't go to school. I know you're homeschooled, but a lot of kids aren't. And so that's really cool that you were able to be a part of that. And so I just say, you are an incredible young man. You are in so many ways. I mean, I will just say again, you sure you're only 9? You sure that that maybe you're older than that and you don't realize it?
I'm 17.
Okay. Your secret's safe with me. Your secret's safe with me. Okay. So it has been such a delight to have you. We have had so much fun. You have shared so much, and we are like totally impressed. Looking for great things from you very shortly. I know great things are coming. We're excited. And so I just want to, if any of you want to unmute and express your appreciation, say something to Denzel, feel free. You can do that.
I think.
Thank you.
Denzel, can you hear me?
Yes.
Denzel, I just want to say how proud I am of you. I've known you since you were a toddler, and you're shining so brightly. I'm totally impressed. I look forward to getting your autograph one day, and hopefully you may allow me to play a small role in one of your movies. And I wouldn't mind jamming with you sometime, because I saw that clip where you were playing your guitar and singing your song, and I was really, really impressed. So keep on doing what you're doing, and you're just going to get better and better as time goes on. Congrats, and I'm so proud of you. Okay?
Thank you.
You're a very, very important person, sir.
There you
I'd
go.
just like to say that. Continue doing well, okay? Take care.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so if you guys want to unmute and continue and express appreciation as we wrap things up here, feel free.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Denzel. It was wonderful. It was a joy and a delight. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Denzel. And everybody, thank you for being here, and have a great rest of your day. Great week. We're off to a great start here.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
To be honest, I don't even know where to begin. Denzel is one of those once in a lifetime creative artists. You're not going to find somebody like him. I mean, it's kind of like this. I think when he was born, they broke the mold, and we are now reaping all the benefits. So it's a positive thing. And I am so grateful that I had the opportunity when he's so young to be able to interact with him, because I have this feeling, give him 20 years, he's going to be winning an Academy Award, an Emmy, could be on Broadway. Who knows what this young man's future has in store for him. But I just want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope that you were inspired and encouraged by Denzel and what he had to say, the way he conducted himself, his wonderful sense of humor. If you were not laughing, I mean, I probably laughed more during this episode than most of the episodes that I do. I mean, we do a lot of laughing, but Denzel is just a comedian, straight up comedian, no doubt, and they need to give him more comedy. I am so excited to see him in more and more things, and so please be sure to check out all of his links in the notes. There's all that information so you can follow him on social media and not miss a single thing that he's in. Thank you all for being here. I mean, this would not exist without you guys, and I don't take it lightly. You guys are patient, kind, considerate. It means more than I can possibly say. And so, if you are not following me, please check out all the links. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Review it, rate it. If you are watching, listening on YouTube, thumbs up, subscribe. This gives me more chances to bring even more people to you. And trust me, I'm busy doing it. I'm busy scouting out those people. Regardless, thank you for listening. I hope and pray that you have a blessed day, a blessed week. Take care. See you next time on another episode of Media from the Heart. Yeah, join the Facebook group. I want to see you there, okay? Bye.